Inside Mexico's billion-dollar drug empire, meet the drug lords. I was filled with fear and bitter excitement when I decided to cover this drug issue. I knew I was delving into dangerous ground. I knew the risk, I knew the consequences, and I fully understood the fine line I was walking. And being a woman obviously doubled the risk. But as a courageous reporter for ViralMixerTV, I couldn't resist the call of the story. It was more than a story. It was a rabbit hole leading into the depths of Mexico's darkest secrets. This is not just any tale. It's a first-hand account of what goes on behind the scenes of a billion-dollar empire fueled by power, blood, and unending ambition. And trust me, the reality is more twisted than any crime thriller you've ever seen. It started with a cryptic email, a single sentence that made my heart race. Are you ready to see the real Mexico? Attached was a location deep in Sinaloa, the birthplace of Mexico's most notorious drug cartel. I knew this was no ordinary offer, but curiosity overpowered my fear. A week later, I found myself on a dusty road heading toward a nondescript warehouse. The tension in the air was palpable. I was greeted by a man known only as El Fantasma, the ghost. His eyes were cold, devoid of any emotion, yet his words were warm, almost welcoming. "You're brave to come," he said, his voice a mix of admiration and thinly veiled threat. But bravery can turn into foolishness real fast around here. El Fantasma wasn't just any lieutenant. He was one of the kingpins trusted by Joaquin El Chapo Guzman himself before his arrest. Now, with El Chapo behind bars, new power players have emerged, clawing for control. And one name was whispered more than any other. Nemesius Cervantes, the shadowy figure behind the new Sinaloa cartel's resurgence. What I uncovered was nothing short of astounding. Mexico's drug empire isn't just about guns and violence. It's a meticulously orchestrated network, almost as sophisticated as any Fortune 500 company. The cartel controls every step of the process, from coca farms hidden deep within Colombia's jungles to smuggling tunnels that run beneath the US border like veins in the earth. Every kilo we send north, El Fantasma explained, is worth gold. The gringos pay, and they pay well. What they do with it afterward, that's their business. Our business is making sure it gets there. As I dug deeper, I discovered the names of lesser-known but equally deadly figures running the show. Sandra Avila Beltran, known as the Queen of the Pacific, was quietly rising, controlling the Pacific Coast smuggling routes with an iron fist. Then there was Ismael El Mayo Zambada, a ghost even the FBI couldn't capture, using his low profile to avoid the fate that befell his counterparts. With billions of dollars at stake, trust is a luxury no one can afford. The deeper I went, the more I heard whispers of betrayals and brutal executions. In this world, a missed shipment could mean the end of a cartel lieutenant's life. I learned of El Mencho, leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJ Yang, who once turned on his own allies to solidify his grip on the methamphetamine trade. El Mencho doesn't forgive, one informant told me in a hushed voice. You cross him, you're dead, but if you're loyal, you live like a king. Loyalty, however, comes at a price, often paid in blood. The CJNG's signature move, leaving dismembered bodies as a warning to competitors and traders alike. But here's the shocking twist. These cartels aren't just after money. They crave power and influence, and they're no longer confined to the shadows. Politicians, judges, and even police chiefs are on their payroll. The deeper I probed, the clearer it became that the lines between law enforcement and the underworld were blurred beyond recognition. You might think of cartel members as ruthless criminals, but many are merely pawns in a much larger game. I met Marcos, a 16-year-old boy with tired eyes who'd been recruited by the Sinaloa cartel. I didn't have a choice, he told me, his voice barely above a whisper. They said they would protect my family. For kids like Marcos, the cartel offers a twisted kind of stability, a sense of belonging that the government never provided. But at what cost? I witnessed firsthand the brutal training camps where young recruits are taught to shoot, kill, and follow orders without question. They are indoctrinated to believe that the cartel is their new family, one that never abandons them, until it does. The sheer scale of the cartel's operation is mind-boggling. They've turned Mexico into a narco superhighway, using ingenious methods to move their products. From speedboats that race across the Gulf of California to drones that drop packages into Arizona's deserts, the cartels are always one step ahead of authorities. One of the most shocking discoveries was the narco submarines used to ferry cocaine from Colombia to Mexico's shores. These are not your typical submarines. They're homemade, low-tech, and nearly impossible to detect. We can move 10 tons in one trip, boasted Captain No, a former Navy officer now working for the CJAng. The DA knows, but they can't stop us. Here's the part that no one wants to talk about. The American demand is what fuels this empire. Without the billions of dollars flowing from the north, there would be no cartels. And they know this. In fact, they're expanding their reach into cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York, where fentanyl has become the new drug of choice. But the cartels aren't just satisfied with pushing drugs, they're investing in legitimate businesses in the United States, laundering money through real estate, nightclubs, and even tech startups. I spoke with Alejandro, a former accountant for El Mencho, who explained how they clean their dirty money. It's all about the connections, he said. If you have the right people in your pocket, no one asks questions. This story has come at a cost. I've been followed, my phone tapped, and anonymous threats sent to my inbox. The cartels don't appreciate outsiders prying into their affairs, but the world needs to know the truth, even if it puts my life at risk. What the media often fails to report is that this drug war isn't just Mexico's problem. It's a global crisis with far-reaching consequences. The corruption, the violence, the addiction, it's all connected. The real question is, how much longer can this billion-dollar empire thrive before it collapses under its own weight? Just before leaving Mexico, I received one last tip, a dossier filled with names of United States officials on the cartel's payroll. The source? A high-ranking member of the DEA who claimed to be tired of the lies. I haven't verified the information yet, but if true, it's the bombshell that could shatter everything we thought we knew about the drug trade. So, what's next? I plan to release the dossier, regardless of the consequences, because in the end, the truth must come out. And if this story has taught me anything, it's that the real war isn't fought with guns or money. It's fought with the power of information. Stay tuned and subscribe to ViralMixerTV as we continue to uncover the secrets behind the billion-dollar empire that's poisoning the world. NB. Please note that any match of names is accidental and has no reference to anyone. All names are not the real names to protect everyone.